Hello, everybody. What's up? Good afternoon. This is Gina Ifoe, the one and only African superstar, Afisha Paganafo Midway. Happy holidays to everybody. Happy Merry Christmas, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, whatever you're doing um, during this festive period. We've celebrated some of the holidays already, and upcoming is New Year's, which is just a few days away. I'm actually received my album cover the other day. Special shout outs to Monica and Ayana. They both got to see that when we went out the other night. They got to see the preliminaries of my album cover. So yes, I'm really excited. I'll be dropping that on New Year's Day. The album will be available exclusively at gosh, I forgot the damn name of the website. Jeez. This is live for you. This is live for you. Bandcamp.com. So the album will be available for purchase there, but I'll post a link once it's active and whatnot. Big shout outs also to the members only who are designated by the circle next to their name. Also shout outs to obviously the lovers and supporters of the African Superstar music project, the customers of the Afrikansuperstar.com. We just got so much stuff going on. Huh? Yes. Big shout outs to you guys. Are you ready for the new year? Huh? If you're here in the chat room, please make sure you're on code. Come in, like the stream, greet me in the chat room, and be a part of our conversation today. Today, I want to talk about an unpopular opinion, huh? I know my girl Monica is going to film me on this, and probably other diasporans that are here on the continent are going to film me on this. And the topic is, I do not enjoy seeing them in Africa, okay? Now, so obviously for censorship kind of purposes, y'all gonna have to read between the lines of who I'm talking about when I refer to them. And I don't know, well, I know exactly why it's like that. And that's what I'm gonna talk about today. So big shout outs to the African Superstar family. Guys, what's up? Can I get some crowd participation before I start? Is anybody in the chat room? Huh? What's up? Don't just be a spectator. Y'all know I don't like that. And I know y'all be liking when I go live. So let's show some love and support. What's up? Is anybody in the chat room? Can y'all hear me? Just trying to make sure. Can you hear me? Huh? Eddie, is you okay? What's up? Anybody here? Can you guys hear me? Is anybody here? I don't see anybody in the chat room. Before I start, what's up? What's up, guys? All right. Thank you so much. Sweet Tea is there. She's on code. Thank you. Because I'm like, can you guys not hear me? Or is everybody just spectating today? Yes. So obviously here in Ghana during December time, there is just an influx of people. I mean, I know obviously holiday time globally, a lot of people travel. There's a lot of crowds everywhere, and holiday shopping, lots of parties and blah blah blah. But it's really noticeable here in Ghana, compared to everyday life, normal traffic, things like that versus the December crowd. It's just crazy. The last week, anytime I try to go anywhere from, just to go do like normal shopping, chilling in the evenings, any restaurants, it's just absolutely insane. One of the things that I'm seeing here, and obviously here in Accra, is a lot of foreigners, okay? Non-Black foreigners here in Ghana. Now, a lot of you guys have brought these people into our families and communities because you guys believe in integrating and all of that. So for some of them, they are married to Ghanaians and whatnot. Others of them are following us, the diaspora here to the continent, because we've been hyping it, we've been talking about it, music festivals. So they're curious and they want to know what's going on in Ghana. And I don't like seeing them here. I really don't like seeing them here. And what's crazy is sometimes I feel like, I don't know why I got selected to have certain perspectives. I don't know why, I was made to be intellectual. I don't know why I am a critical thinker. Because the first thing I'm always thinking just in general in life. You know, I've come to this conclusion, but I would say definitely much more firmly in my adult years. But something that, you know, I've always been interested in is mutuality. Okay. Mutuality means that people, all the people involved benefit. People get, you know, something from the deal. It's not something for nothing. In other words, it's also called reciprocity. Reciprocity is more like, I do this for you, you do something for me. Mutuality is we're both going to benefit in this situation. These are two very strong concepts in my life and in my perspective. And that's why I think I have the biggest issue with seeing these people coming to our continent, enjoying themselves, feeling free, feeling liberal, feeling safe, experiencing hospitality. You know, it's very interesting because when we go to their lands, that is not reciprocated. Huh? If anybody, I don't know if I have any African migrants with me. Oh my goodness, man. I knew it was going to. Hold on just a minute, please. I'm sorry. It's live, guys. If I have any African migrants, let me just see a number one, please. Hey, Dre. Okay, let me turn off my damn ringer. Because it never fades. It never fails. It never fails. As soon as I get on live, it happens. So, you know, this sensation that they enjoy on the continent is not what we get outside. And I don't think it's fair. And I think it's crazy that they get the liberty to just enjoy themselves and stuff, and it's not reciprocated. I don't know why our people do not see that as a normal outlook in life. You know, letting people into our homelands when we're not welcome into their homelands. Even the immigration agreements. You know, a lot of foreign people can easily travel to African nations, but for Africans to travel to those same nations is it's a big struggle, a big expense, complicated and difficult. You know, why don't we want it back? I mean, real talk, non-Black people, Arabs, and, you know, all these people, they really technically should not feel comfortable in our homelands based on their interactions with us. Right now in Arab nations, for instance, you know, there's a lot of racism that goes on, a lot of immigration scams, you know, them kind of soliciting people from Africa to go and work as domestic workers. And once they get there, it's from my understanding, it's more like modern day slavery. Obviously, Black people going to the UK, going to America, they face racism, they face violence, they face negative stereotypes. And I'm just like, but then they come here and they get, you know, we look at them without any disdain. We don't, I just don't understand. I don't like seeing them here. Actually, I moved to the continent because I wanted to live among my own people. And I really don't want to see them here. I mean, I don't have any control of them coming here, obviously, but I don't enjoy it at all. You know, and it's very interesting because they know the dynamics between a continental African and a diasporan. You know, when I first started coming to Africa, I would be seeing them like, you know, being all friendly and, you know, engaging with the locals and laughing and having a good time. And I would be thinking to myself like, wow, what a fake face you're showing here. And then when they would actually meet my eyes or they would hear my accent, their interaction with me would be different because they know that obviously I know what their environment is like and how race relations are in the diaspora. You know, and the thing is, guys, we can't get around the irrefutable truth that we have to do for and prioritize self. That is it. You see, we are misdirecting all of our energy, our resources on this whole thought of integration and diversity, which again does not benefit us. Okay. Diversity in large part benefits them. because it allows them to capitalize off of our contributions to society, our talents, our, beauty, our culture, our innovation. Okay. They're the ones who benefit from having us in their environment. We're not the ones who benefit by being in their environment. Okay, we're at the bottom of the totem pole. Our communities are shattered. Relations between Black men and Black women are strained. Our children are being going through emotional, psychological problems. We're facing violence. I mean, the list goes on as to the drawbacks to diversity and integration for our people. Yet our people hold on to it with dear life like it's a necessity for us, and it's not. And if you actually look at nature, which I use nature as my guide through life, okay, because nature is something that is natural. Okay, it's something that even people, animals don't have to talk to communicate. A lot of them have innate understandings about what they need to do. So when, for instance, a female animal gives birth, that nobody has talked to that elephant and says, this is what you need to do to take care of your baby. This is how you need to feed it. This is how you need to clean it. No, they have an innate instincts of how to do that stuff. We should be looking at nature above anything of how we're supposed to interact. Nature tells us that integration is something that has to happen, and it's kind of separate but equal. Okay, because in the wild, you have many different species that live in the wild together, so to speak. Okay. However, you don't see these species reproducing together. You don't see, for instance, the eagle going to get a pigeon and bringing the pigeon back to the nest or whatever and saying, hey, look, I'm going to hook up with this pigeon. I really like this pigeon. They live in the same environment. However, they mate and procreate with their own. We miss that. Okay. We also miss what happens to animals when they're outside of their indigenous homeland. Shout outs to all my diasporans out there, both migrants and both products of, various migrations of the past. You see, we suffer a lot being in different environments. That's not for us. Okay, you guys know popularly what I suffered the most living in the UK is a skin condition. Okay, ironically, being on the African continent in this climate here in West Africa has begun to heal my skin. You guys see the spots, the scars. Yeah. So we don't look at nature. Nature is the greatest example of how we need to live our life and what we need to do. Okay. It also teaches us what happens if people do not, they are removed from their habitat for one reason or another, or they fail to reproduce and, be with their own species. We know what happens. Shout outs to the family. First trivia question. What happens to animals, what are some things that happen to animals when they're removed from their homeland? What's the worst thing that can happen to an animal at the end of the day? Go ahead and let me see your answers. What's up, family? I'm going to start shout outs here. First trivia question of this live stream. What happens to animals when they are removed from their homelands? Huh? What happens to animals? What are some things that happen to them? And what's the worst thing that happens to them? Big shout outs to the family. I'll give you guys a minute to answer while I'm going through shout out. Sweet Tea, I see you guys there. What's up, God and Me 31? Greetings from New York. I hope you're warm. I have been seeing the extreme winter weather that has been happening for instance, like Buffalo, New York. I know I spoke to my family on Christmas Day in Ohio, and they said it's been extremely frigid temperatures this year. Some people have perished due to it and things like that. So I hope you guys out there are, safe and sound, taking care of yourself and all of that. What's up, Blockavelli? Big shout outs to the family. GBL, I see you there. Make sure you guys like the stream. We got 20 of you guys here. What's up? So make sure you like the stream. You can show your support. I don't like seeing them in Africa. Okay. There's a law of reciprocity. Okay, the way they treat us is how we should be treating them. You guys will say, no, but let God deal with it. No. We could simplify a lot of things if we just went ahead and put our foot down in a lot of areas. Instead of hoping and wishing for tomorrow that it's going to be sorted, that, people are going to have some level of morality. Some people are going to do the right thing. No, they're not going to do the right thing. People got to be forced to do the right thing. That's the truth. Even you, a lot of y'all watching me are stubborn as hell. Your parents had to punish you, take things from you, beat you, you know what I mean? Give you some kind of recourse to get you to do what you were supposed to do because you were stubborn. Okay, when they came in your room and said, hey, clean up your room, you didn't listen to that. When you said, don't come home after your curfew, that you didn't listen to that. When they said, if you don't get these grades up, then, blah, blah, blah. You didn't listen to your parents, okay? It was the consequences that taught you about life. And we don't want to put our foot down and say, hey, not only can you not treat me like this, but these are going to be the associated consequences of treating me like this, okay? If your land ain't safe for me to be in, and you don't show me any respect in your land, you're not going to come here in my land and get the red carpet. No. Big shout out to the family. What's up, Niamu? Niamu says, too late, our people brought them in. Our people are always being welcoming. It is something that is a weakness, because we don't analyze these people. We don't research these people. We don't screen these people. We just say, oh, you know what? They smiled. They had a conversation with us. They're cool. They're all right. They made a joke. So let's go ahead and bring them in, share our interior knowledge and secrets, give them access to our inheritance and, give bored children with them. Let's just go ahead and just, it's an unwise strategy. Our people continue to fall into these situations. What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? Big shout outs to the family. Niamu's talking about what I mentioned earlier in the stream about these Arabs. Okay. Arab people, from what I understand, are extremely racist. I mean, there's tons of documentaries and articles about Africans moving to these, Middle Eastern countries, Qatar and things like this, and getting caught up in these situations. They go there to become domestic workers, and the people that they work, their employers will, confiscate their passports, abuse them, sometimes sexually abuse them, and with that, they don't have money, they don't have their passports, they're trapped there, they don't know anyone there, they can't speak the language there. It's ridiculous. And as Niamu says, our people will be the middleman and say, hey, I hope you get to Dubai, I hope you get to Qatar, knowing these things are going on. Meanwhile, the Arabs come here and they feel comfortable in Africa. They feel, they're walking around here, no problem. And even you can see what I was talking about in regards to nature. You can see all the other ethnicities practicing. Lebanese people been here in West Africa, for what I understand, for a long time. You will see them with their people. They might live in Ghana, but they marry from their own people. Huh? And every now and then, yeah, you'll see, well, sometimes they integrate and this and that. Well, a lot of times those kids be neglected, and they're not also recognized perhaps by their family. They're not in line for any inheritances or family businesses and things like that. They're kind of seen as like the bastard children of this individual a lot of times. As many mixed race people get the short end of the stick like that. Big shout outs. What's up, family? Brown Coat Blue, shout outs to you. I heard from Brown Coat Blue the other day. I actually showed Brown Coat Blue a quick snapshot of my album cover, so he did get to see that. Big shout outs to you. What's up? Shoshana is here representing in Uganda. She says, diasporans are ideally positioned to be a blessing to Africa. We invest beneficially and we integrate harmoniously when we come. Some people do, Shoshana. I don't know what the climate is in Uganda. But we have an interesting dichotomy here. There are definitely, I'd say, a lot of diasporans that are here because they have an interest and a love for the continent. there are also a notable amount of them that are here with ulterior motives. And obviously we know what happened in the past when people came from America to, Liberia, for instance. Because if you don't have the attitude of integrating here on the continent, if we want to integrate, that's a great topic. If we want to integrate, actually, Shoshana, because we like integrating with non-Black people, and that is a detrimental thing. Hello. But if we want to integrating on the continent is a great way to integrate, because the reason that is a strong suited match is because we have a lot of similarities. Okay. We share a lot of the same experiences, and that kind of integration strengthens relationships between the diaspora and the continent. Okay. Versus these other integrations estrange you more and more from your root and can become a colossal problem and issue. And say, for instance, you have a member of the diaspora that's come here and settled on the continent, and they marry someone here from the continent. That generational wealth or that family, inheritance and things still going back into the soil. Okay. Versus you marry a German or you marry a British. And now, what's going to be the status of your inheritance? Your children are living abroad. They're not even here. All these things. Our people just think and behave so surfacely. You know what I mean? And it's just like, and even they watch what happens to their peers, and they never correlate that can affect them as well. What's up, guys? Big shout outs to the Afrikansuperstar family. I agree with this, but I know here in Ghana, they've done some recent changes here in Ghana. They're now offering visas on arrival, which is excellent, because any of you guys that are coming to Ghana know you have to kind of sort out your visa prior to traveling. So maybe if you're on the continent, you want to visit Ghana, it's not something you can kind of do on the fly. And I believe obviously as the demand is there, the need for these changes will be addressed, because previously you haven't had influx of the diaspora wanting to come and settle in Africa. So the desire for those kind of laws or the desire for that need has not been there, but it is there. It's ever growing now. So obviously that will be, something that confronts them to have to do something about it. So yeah, I do agree. I mean, the immigration processes and things like that definitely need to be updated to accommodate the needs of modern day and the interests of the diaspora and things like that. So definitely agree. What's up, guys? Big shout outs to the family. Niamu, I completely agree. The European looking Jesus and white looking Mohammed have done some serious damage to our mindset. Mr. Camo, what's up? I see you there. Big shout outs. What's up, Douglas? You are 100% correct, sister. I always use that analogy when you look at how species of animals behave in nature. That's all we need to be doing. Okay, you guys want to look at Allah and Jesus and Buddha and every other thing, and Barack Obama and Biden and Theresa May and all these people. You guys want to look at everything except what is irrefutable. Okay, nature is irrefutable. Okay, there's no question about how animals live, how they have managed to survive through the test of time. You can go to Egypt and you can look at the hieroglyphics on pyramids, and in the depictions, you're going to see fish in the sea, you're going to see birds in the sky, you're going to see camels, you're going to see horses. All these kind of animals are depicted in ancient Egyptian history. Okay, same thing with European history, Greek, Roman. You see that these animals, for instance, have legit been around for centuries. If you want to look at anything on how to survive and how to govern your life and things that you should and shouldn't do, nature is a great, great example of how to do that. Okay, nature tells us right, period, point blank, integration is not the way forward. You will not survive. Okay, you guys want to go and take the most complex combination and try to see what's going to happen. You want to, some Ghanaian guy want to have a baby with a Japanese woman. I want to see what my baby's going to look like. not taking into context two completely different cultures, okay? Two completely different geographical locations, okay? Maybe you guys meet as young people. Where are you going to be when you want to retire? You know, obviously, maybe the Japanese person want to go back to their homeland. A lot of foreigners, that's what they want to do when they retire. How are you going to raise the children? What languages are they going to speak? What religions are they going to speak? What are you going to do about the inheritance? You have lands here in Ghana. So when your children grow up in Japan and they are culturally Japanese, what's going to happen to your generational wealth? Hello, nature. Nature. Okay, the first trivia question, I'm coming to it very soon, is what happens to animals when they are removed from their indigenous homelands? What are some consequences of what happens to animals? Big shout outs to Douglas Allen. I see you there. What's up? What's up? Thank you so much for coming to my channel. I'm glad to see them shorts is they're doing their job. Welcome to the African Superstar family. What's up? What's up, family? Mr. Jerome Lockhart, I see you there. Good morning, good afternoon to you guys, wherever you are. Jerome says Africans feel obligated to welcome these ancestral adversaries because of colonization, slavery, religious indoctrination. Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's why, just like Shoshana stated, you know, the diaspora can have a profound impact on the continent. This is why strategically they never wanted us to, you know, travel here or have any relationship with our continental brothers and sisters, because they didn't want us to get on the same page and let them know, hey, while you guys are showing them immense hospitality here on the continent, when you go live abroad, this is how you're going to be treated. You know, they never wanted, you know, us to have these conversations, but now it's something we need to consider. You know, if, for instance, we want to welcome these people in our lands, then we should be calling for reciprocity. You know me, I'm Pan-African. I just don't want them here at all because I know that they don't have any positive intentions. Okay. And I think that if anybody lives and eats and benefits off the continent, it should be us. That's how I feel. I really feel like there's really no space for them. And I believe that wherever they go, they bring drama, they bring violence, they bring warfare. You can look at, you know, the most highly populated country on the continent where they live, and it's full of violence, and it has been drama ever since they set their foot there, and that is South Africa. The audacity of going to someone else's land and saying, hey, this is our land. We're going to chop it up. We're going to be here. We're going to, and call themselves South Africans. The absolute audacity. Meanwhile, Black people, members of the diaspora who have been born and raised in these foreign countries, they're never called Americans or British or French or Germans. There always seem to be migrants. There always, you know what I mean? It's just ridiculous. And we don't call for it. There needs to be some reciprocity. There needs to be some mutuality in these relationships. And if you guys have these kind of relationships with these people, you will see that these relationships are contingent on you being the inferior person in the situation. They are contingent with you being suppressed, you being the lesser person. If you guys are on the same playing field, or if the situation happens whereby you escalate, you know, so let's say the two of you guys are students when you meet up, okay? You begin a relationship in university. Both of you guys are struggling students or whatever, okay? You go on to escalate your situation, you know, become wealthy, become an entrepreneur. All of a sudden, your relationships with them will be very challenged. Okay, because they literally feel like you should never have more than they should have. And many Black professionals definitely have encountered this in the West, where it's like they look at you as to say, who do you think you are? You know, trying to disregard your professional, you know, advices, trying to just suppress you, speak to you in a condescending way. They're essentially conveying to you that you shouldn't, you know, according to their perspective, you should just never, ever be higher than them, ever. You know, this is something that we need to examine. Why people are not saying, hey, it's unfair that you can come to our nations, you know, with this kind of immigration agreement, with this blah, 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 that with the way that the mineral resources are distributed, and we cannot reciprocate in your nations. Big shout out to Mr. Jerome. Now, we're getting on to the answer to that trivia question for those of you that don't know, those of you that never thought about it, okay? Obviously, I know I'm not an animal, I'm a human, but I definitely correlate a lot of things from nature in my own life, okay? And I find that when I lived in the West, even though I was born and raised in America, there were many things environmentally that I didn't like, that were a stress to me, that I was powerless to change, that were impacting me negatively. And I found that when I moved to Ghana, for instance, many of those things were alleviated. But I know that this is the origination, the continent is the origination of where Black people come from. A lot of you guys struggle with that inherent truth, but it is what it is, okay? That's why this continent is full of Black people. And there's no other continent in the world that's full of Black people, because this is our indigenous roots. So when I came to the continent, I found that, wow, a lot of things like such as, obviously I talk about the weather, hate cold weather. Most Black people do. If you look at your non-Black peers, they don't mind the winter time. You know, I remember when I'm in the UK during the cold winter months, they're opening their windows. Some people are wearing shorts, flip-flops outside, no coat. Okay, they enjoy sports such as skiing and, you know, all of that. Going to a mountain, climbing a mountain and staying in a cabin. These are things that historically Black people do not enjoy doing. Okay, they don't like cold weather at all. I found that socially, life is way more lit here on the continent. I hated the sensation of being a minority. I hated that. I hated going into rooms where I'm one or two only Black people. I hated going into shops and everybody looks at you, or coming in a restaurant. It's so unnerving. I hated the instance when things happen to you and you know that it's racially motivated, or people have said things to you and you know that it's racially motivated. All those things, okay? Those three things I just talked about alleviated immediately when I came to the continent. I don't like living in a violent environment. You know, in the West, violence is just a normal facet of life. You know, there's no present problem resolution. There's no family meeting. There's no chief. There's no, consulting your elders, things that are cultural parts of, for instance, African nations, African cultures, that all those things I list, no matter where you come from. If you're coming from a Muslim community, if you're in the West Africa, South Africa, these are like parts of our culture, okay, that leads to it not being a extremely violent environment. Our people are content with good food, music, you know what I mean? Just chilling. That's all we think about. We're not worried about conquest and invading the nation next to. So I found that me being in those environments was hindering me a lot. And I think that if we begin to examine that a lot of the things that we're unhappy with, we can directly correlate them to being in the wrong habitat, huh? And so now we're going to go over some of the things that happen when you're in the wrong habitat. The worst thing that can happen is extinction. This is why I promote the diaspora to come to the continent. This is why I promote Black love. This is why I promote self-preservation. Because if we continue down the path that we are having, we will absolutely become extinct. And Black people think, nah, there's so many Black people. There's billions of Black people in Africa. We'll never become extinct. Well, guess what? It's very easy to do. And if you look at a lot of the agendas that are being promoted in the West, being specifically geared at Black people, such as the homosexual agenda, the transgender agenda, and the interracial agenda, all of these things are going to lead to extinction. Huh? Because you guys know that many, sizable amount of mixed race people, they don't identify with being Black. And obviously, if you're engaged in a homosexual relationship or you're a transgender, you're not giving birth. If somehow you're manipulating science to give birth, or you're adopting, your child growing up in that environment is absolutely going to have an influence on the way they look at the world and relationships, period. The worst thing that can happen from all these things that we're currently engaging in is extinction. And wouldn't that be great if we just vacate the continent for them and they can come here and enjoy, the great weather and all the mineral resources? If you think that's not what they want, if you think that's not what's at the end of the road, then you need to open up your eyes, guys. Big shout outs. What's up, family? Janelle, hello, sweetie. Good morning. Hope you're good in Texas. Jerome says depression and debt. Is that not what our people are dealing with right now? Huh? I mean, I feel like every day, I feel like it's kind of like overkill. Everybody's like, I have low self-esteem. I'm depressed. I don't know who I am and all. This is a direct connection of not being in your habitat. Let me give you 2 examples. Now, say there's a giraffe, okay? Let's say this giraffe is from Kenya, okay? Because Kenya actually has a lot of giraffes. I saw some on one of my trips to Nairobi. They're fascinating creatures, okay? So let's say you're a giraffe from Kenya, okay? And then they go and take you to Egypt. Now, I didn't see any giraffes in Egypt when I was there. I saw camels and stuff like that, and birds and fish and stuff, but I didn't see any, I see any elephants. I didn't see any giraffes and blah, blah, blah. And it's actually a different climate, okay? Obviously, North Africa is more arid. There's desert there. It's hotter there. In East Africa, it's more moderate, and so there's a different kind of wildlife that they have in Kenya. So let's just say you're a giraffe from Kenya, you move to Egypt, okay? You move to Egypt, you migrate to Egypt, all right? So you're there with Michelle on a mission. And, you start looking around and you're like, oh my God, there's no more giraffes. Like, I can't, like, you want to get married, you want to settle down, you want to have some kids. There's no more giraffes. So you're looking at yourself and you're thinking, oh my God, what's wrong? And then you look around and you see all the camels. There's loads of camels in Egypt. They be on the desert. That's how people travel in the desert, is they really use the camels. So you look around, you see lots of camels. You're like, oh my gosh, look at this. Look, there's hundreds of camels and there's no giraffes. I can't find any giraffes. You get depressed because you're just like, where do I belong? Okay, now you've changed your habitat. Okay, now because you're in that climate, you start also having health problems. You can't find the food you need to eat. You know what I mean? The climate is affecting you. It's really extremely hot in Egypt or whatever, certain times of the year. So you're just having a lot of problems. Okay, ultimately, you never find another giraffe in Egypt, you die. You never reproduce, you don't have kids, you die. It's over. Now, the giraffes in Kenya are not in that same environment. Okay, there's actually loads of giraffes in Kenya. You can go to places and see them all together. There's a place called Giraffe Manor where you can look it up. It's in Kenya, and you can actually go there and the giraffes are just out there and you can feed them and all this kind of stuff. There's a power about being in your homeland with your peers in your natural habitat. And it's something that obviously members of the diaspora that grow up in the diaspora, they don't know, because they grow up being the only giraffe in Egypt. They grow up being the only giraffe in the classroom. They grow up being the only giraffe in the boardroom. And that becomes normal to them. And they start harboring all this depression. It was extremely powerful for me when I first came to the continent and I just saw Black people. Scores and scores of, it was mind blowing to me. And my first sensation was I knew I wasn't no damn minority. I knew it. I knew I wasn't no minority. There are millions of our people here on the continent. if you're someone like me and you hate being a minority or in a minority setting, then connecting with the continent is going to be a huge reprieve for you. You know, when you go out, nobody's I can't tell you the last time. Well, I know the last time I felt black. The last time I felt black was in the UK. But when I'm here in Ghana, I don't even think about it. I don't even have interactions that make me think, did this happen to me because I'm black? Now, realistically, I might have a situation. I'm like, yeah, they try to play me because I'm foreign. They try to play me because they heard my accent. They try to charge me more, blah, blah, blah. But I don't have these racial thoughts. I don't have these thoughts of loneliness. I don't have these thoughts of I don't belong and all these things that we experience in the West. Real talk. Today's trivia question, I'm going through the answers, is what happens to animals when they are removed from their natural habitat? Again, we're not animals, but we can correlate what goes on in nature with what is happening with our people. There are also giraffes that don't know that they're giraffes. Okay, they grew up in Egypt, so they think they're camels. We know black people like that, huh? We know black people that are giraffes that think they are camels. They roll with camels, all their friends are camels, they try to marry camels. They get the realization somewhere down the line, oh wow, I'm a giraffe. I'm not like that. It's different. I'm different. Big shout outs. What's up? Douglas says depression, stress, cannot reproduce as much as they need to. Facts. Niamu says Africans are too welcoming. That is why enslavement and colonization occurred. Absolutely. Absolutely. Moderators, please be on your grind. Anybody with a wrench, please be mindful of the chat. Okay? Big shout outs to the family. What's up, family? Blackavelli says we need to gatekeep. I agree. You know, I mean, I don't know why our people do not want to learn from the past. We don't even have explicit knowledge of the past, but we know enough to know that we should be protecting our homeland and we should be addressing a lot of these relationships that we have with foreign nations and so on and so forth. Okay. And what we should be doing is analyzing the nature of these relationships. You know, we do have a lot of people that sell out for money, you know, and it's very pitiful because there's things that's much more important than money. For instance, getting extinct is much more important than money. Okay. Something else I haven't seen you guys list is becoming a endangered species. So this is what happens before you actually go extinct. There's only a few of you left. Okay. And at this point, I mean, life is really stressful because at this point, you probably got to watch out for hunters, you know, disease. I mean, it's only a handful of you guys left. So this is on the path of gradually becoming extinct. You know, extinct was when it's over. That's like the dinosaurs. None of us have ever seen the dinosaurs. We see their fossils and stuff like that, but they're gone because they didn't reproduce. They couldn't survive the climates, whatever. We don't really know what happened. These scientists don't also know what happened. They be acting like they know everything. They don't know nothing. They be just trying to gauge and make projections. They don't know. But all I know is what I can see from nature, which is when animals get removed from their natural habitat, it's never great. It's never great, to be honest. Okay? Their natural habitat is equipped with the stuff they need. Okay? The food they need, their social needs, their climate, whatever. That's it. Just like when humans decided, oh, we about to go up in these jungles and cut down the trees. So much wildlife affected when we do stuff like that. When we go out into the seas and we do nonsense in the seas, we go deep diving or we have oil spills, it affects the ecosystem in the sea. You know, yet and still, we don't get it. Big shout outs to the family. Blockavelli, safe travels. What's up? He's heading to Nigeria. What's up, Emmanuel? I see you there. Douglas says the lion doesn't naturally lie with jackals. Eagles don't fly with doves. It's a fact. And we get, you know, we have these like fascinations of these combinations. Well, let me see if I can get me a dove eagle. I never seen a dove eagle before. I wonder what will happen if we cross these breeds, and it's going to be wahala, as we say. It's going to be wahala because it doesn't go. You know, and even though you might be curious about certain things, if you look at things in a broad perspective, you will see that there's many more cons than pros to all this integrating. I'm sorry, I gotta say it. Many more cons. And guess who's at the short end of the stick? Do you guys know who gets the short end of the stick of all this integrating? Huh? Do you guys know? 500 years in the Americas and the Caribbean of people with African roots is not long enough to change their DNA. And we're still, the drama that many of our ancestors have gone through, just like you guys have probably got stories from your mom and dad and grandparents of various things that's happened. Then we've heard terrible, awful stories or seen these movies about what happened to ancestors that we don't even know. Okay. Our people from way back then, hundreds of years ago, was dealing with wahala in the Americas. Now here we are in 2022/2023, still dealing with the drama in the Americas, and we don't want to accept it. Now we've gotten so far removed from our homeland and our habitat that we're claiming to be from these places, and we know it's not. We know it's not, because everything is suggesting it's not. Everything is suggesting that it's not. Just from the basic fact that we struggle to matriculate in these environments, that should let you know. That should let you know. You know, I wear contact lenses, and one of the ways that you can know that you put the contact lens in is that you put it in and it won't fit your eye. It'll be irritating you. You once you wear contacts for a while, you know that, oh my goodness, it's not in correctly. And you got to take it out and just flip it to the other side. And we flip it to the other side, it fits perfectly. It's nice and smooth. It's comfortable. You don't even feel them. Okay, extreme pressure and friction, guys, that's an indicator that you're not where you need to be. Okay, the way many of you guys have visited the continent or now living here, and you talk about, I felt a sense of home when I got there. People were nice to me. I felt welcome. I was this, that. I had all this. I had never been there before, but I felt so comfortable. Hello. That's more along the lines of how you need to feel when you're in a place that you need to be. You feel you're in a place and nothing is suggesting that you belong there. Hello. You know, basic things are still a challenge for your people. This is letting us know. And I think sometimes I'm like, man, if more of our people had the initiative to say, I'm not putting up with this. If more people were like me and say, you know, I'm not putting up with this. Let me go look for alternatives. Hello. Let me go back to the root and try to figure it out. Let me see how I fare on the continent. Let me see if I can live there. Let me see if I can get along with it. We'll be so much further along. But instead, we're putting all of our energy still trying to matriculate. It's not working, but we're still trying. We're still trying. Big shout out to the family. What's up, Uncle Take? I see you there. Hilly says the leaders of these countries enabled the behavior. I agree with that as well. My personal opinion is that the leaders in African nations are incentivized to keep their countries destabilized. The reason is because a stable Africa is going to send so many shockwaves to the rest of the world, you know, and therefore, when you see Pan-African leaders emerge, they get removed Because you got to ask yourself, you know, with all the drama of us being in these foreign nations, especially like these foreign nations really do not like foreigners. Okay. There's all this xenophobia and anti-immigrant stuff that goes on in Europe, in America. And I'm thinking, okay, well, if they don't like immigrants, they don't like Africans being in their nations and all of that, for instance, they will be happy for us to get our nations and economy and infrastructure up to par so that our people don't have to leave. But when our people try to make those initiatives, somehow there's interference. There's coups, there's foreign presence, there's this and that and the other. And I'm like, okay, I mean, it can't just be a coincidence. So I do agree with you. Leaders enable this behavior, but more than that, more than the leaders, we have to take a personal responsibility. That's what I'm doing here on my channel. Okay. I'm not a governor. I'm not a major network, but I'm using my own resources to talk about things that are pertinent to my people, period, point blank. I'm not going to just sit by and let this nonsense keep going on. And that's why I'm having this unpopular opinions. I don't like seeing them in the continent. It's unfair. It's not right. They don't treat us well in their nations. They should get what they get. Isn't that what a lot of you religious people believe? Reap what sow? Yes, you religious people believe that. So why are they not sowing? Okay, you need to start requiring mutuality and reciprocity. Okay, if people don't want to reciprocate with you, it's a great indicator they're not serious. It's a great indicator that they're trying to opportune on you, because if someone has good intentions for you, they don't mind reciprocating in the relationship. They don't mind that. They think, absolutely, you know, why else would I be here? Absolutely, I can repay the favor and things like that. Okay, so if we can't require that from them, they shouldn't be able to get it from us. What's up, Isesa? Big shout outs. I know that's right. Hilly said they don't know about anything fair. They don't want to see the diaspora in Africa. Facts. Bronco Blue says people need to see the pattern. It's the exact same playbook that was used when they destroyed North America, South Central America, Australia, South Africa. Facts, man. That's what I'm saying. These people are not, they're not cool, guys. They're not cool. I'm trying to tell you. And if you want to just identify it for yourself, try to do a deal with them, a business deal. Because some of you guys, maybe you're doing business, okay, where you're benefiting more, or it's a mutual agreement. They won't be interested. They won't be interested in mutual business or a business where you benefit more. They always want to be the capitalist in the situation. That's how you know. Okay, ladies, I know I have some young ladies watching me on this channel. This is how you know if a man is serious or not. You will put out your standards or put out your requirements. Like, for instance, I had a conversation just last night with someone, and he was asking me, you know, well, about starting a family. And I said, well, this is what I need. You know, this is how I roll. If you want to do these things with me, this is what you got to do. Because, and if a man is serious, for instance, you know, they can meet the needs that you've requested. Now, I'm not saying anything outlandish, because we do have a lot of very unrealistic people in this generation. I'm not asking for rocket ships. I don't need a 10-carat diamond ring and all of this kind of stuff and a, you know, global wedding. I don't need all that. Okay. But I need you to be responsible. You know, I need you to take the proper steps to initiate the relationship. Okay. You're not just coming to me and blah, blah, blah. No. Okay. You can identify people that have ill intentions, because there will be no mutuality and there will be no reciprocity. Okay. If it's in business and you say, okay, you know what, look, you're doing the distribution, so I feel like the deal should be 60-40. Okay. Because you are doing a big portion of the business, but it's my product. And they say, no, 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 it can't be like that. It's got to be 70-30 or 80-20. And you're like, what the hell? It's my product. Get away from these kind of situations. You know, ideally, you know, business really, in my opinion, should be 50-50. You know, why won't people want each other to benefit. And obviously it's good for business practice, because when your partner knows, okay, we're both in it, we're both going to succeed with this. There always gets to be some kind of resentment when one party is capitalizing and the other person isn't. So to eliminate this, you can do fair share. You know, and like I said, if you're doing more, you have more resources in the business, still being reasonable. Okay, hey, look, I'm distribution, you are the product owner. Okay, I'm going to get the product out there, so I deserve a little bit more than you because I'm doing more work or whatever. Okay, 60-40. How can it be that the person who's actually creating the product or the musician or the artist or whatever is getting the least out of the deal? No. How can it be that Africa, with all these mineral resources, getting the end of the blast? No, it can't be like that, guys. We've got to change the dichotomy, period. And we need to also have the pride to walk away from situations that's not beneficial for us. Hello? Hello? You know, they're coming to your business and they're offering you $100,000. You better know that business is worth more than that $100,000. And you can spend $100,000 in the course of a year. So if I don't really suggest selling your businesses or your lands, but if you do, you need to make it count for you. You know, I don't believe in doing business where people are going to benefit more off me than I benefit out of them. No, if we're doing business, then I need to be benefiting the most, because I mean, if it's my industry that you want, if it's my business or talent that you want, I should capitalize more than you. It's my stuff. You might have a vehicle, you might have the infrastructure. Big shout outs. Brown Coat Blue had me talking on that. Woo! What's up, Amina? Tiger says, why would you want to see them in Africa? They bring nothing but chaos, destruction, and oppression everywhere they go. Those demons need to go. Facts. Tiger has said it in her most articulate way. Big shout out to Tiger. You know me. I gotta say, they be trying to take me out on his YouTube. You know what I mean? So thanks. I just repeated what Tiger said, but I'm with her. I agree. I concur. Douglas says, they have destroyed their own country, Lebanon, though, through corruption, and are now migrating to survive mostly off Black countries. This is good. Man, this is good, too. You guys are having a lot of compliments. Please, guys, make sure you hit the likes. We got over 30 of you here. Don't forget, you can also support the stream, because I'm talking these topics. I don't know that you've seen this channel, and I don't know that you've seen this topic on any other Pan-African channel. Okay? You haven't seen it on Dynast. You ain't seen it on Woda Maya. You ain't seen it. Hello. You're not seeing it on these channels. Huh? I'm just going to go ahead and call it out. So make sure you show some love and support to the channel. This is interesting too, because what Douglas is talking about is analyzing, obviously, the track record, so to speak. So he's talking about the state of Lebanon, and he's talking about how it's destroyed over there. Thank you, Blackavelli. I appreciate him. Look, Blackavelli, he puts his money where his mouth is. Thank you so much, sweetie, for that 5 on it. Now, if we did this, for instance, now we know that there's a lot of hoopla and hype and all that about America and the UK, especially here in Africa. But if we actually look at their nations and the relations of Black people in their nations and the positions of Black people in their nations, we would be kind of questioning, like, wait a minute. You know, this is not adding up. Okay. And again, if we just preface history, guys, and we would just be like, wait a minute, these are the same guys who initiated slave trade. These are the same people that are stealing our mineral resources and raping the continent. These are the same people that start wars everywhere. These are the same people that's even causing drama in South Africa. Even if you don't want to look to the West to what happens when they are in our environment, you can look right down in South Africa and see that it is absolute chaos, like Tiger said. You know, be mindful of people that have destroyed their home coming into your home. Okay? Be mindful of that, guys. But I know I'm preaching to the choir here on my channel, because obviously a lot of you guys understand what it is. This is true as well. Violence is a part of the culture in the West. That's another thing they bring. Hello. Hello. I wonder how many atomic bombs we have right now on the continent. We don't even really have military. There's no notable military here on the continent. Probably maybe Paul Kagame's military might be the strongest military, but I don't know if they have any, nuclear powers or anything like that. The point is that, for instance, America and UK are the countries that invest the most into their military every year. Billions. Why? Why? Has anybody even, there's been one attack relatively on American soil, which was Pearl Harbor, and that was decades ago. And the other war was even started by then. They had a civil war. So what's the need for all this military? Because violence is a part of their culture. They see violence as a way to problem resolution. They will bring all that drama over here. Yes. You know what I mean? In America, the violence is just out of control. Shootings every day, school shootings, mass shootings, it's out of control. You guys welcoming everybody and everybody into your backyard, and you don't do the research, you don't know what's happening. You think everybody's your friend, despite the historical connotations. It's dangerous, man. You don't know what you're dealing with. And another thing that's very interesting is the Continentals. I would be very interested to know why diasporans are coming to the continent in mass. But it seems to me that the Continentals, they don't mind it. They don't pay attention. They don't ask questions. They don't, when I have conversations with many Continentals about why I'm here in Ghana, they will just disregard my reasonings. It's like they don't want to hear it. So this is also another humongous area of weakness, because meanwhile, you should be receptive to people that are coming from that environment to give you an understanding of what that environment is like. It's a wealth of knowledge. The same way I like going chill with my big auntie, because she's lived longer than me and she's been through a lot of things. I can get so much information from her that I can help navigate my life. But we got Continentals here that will say, "No, you're crazy. I don't believe you." Just disregard it. And even though they see that, like I said, diasporans are coming to the continent in mass in this 2022, they still are not seeing it. They're still disregarding it. Big shout outs to the family. Niamu is talking about Black people being extinct in North Africa. Definitely, I've been to only Egypt so far as North Africa, but the Arab influence is on. I mean, you actually have to go to places where the Black Egyptians live, for instance, which they are called Nubians. Okay, so theoretically, you're looking at, okay, this is Africa. This is the continent of Africa. Most other nations I've been to on a continent have been Black populated. That's going to be the majority of the population. Guys, it's a very simple understanding about this whole self-preservation thing. My people don't understand. I don't know. It's frustrating to me because I'm just like, I don't know why you people don't think far. We have tons of examples of how animals have become extinct and people. Number one example for those of you guys living in America is the Native Americans. Huh? There's even still cities and towns in America that are Native American names. Okay? I was well into my college years when I learned some of these places, like in Ohio, some other places like Chattahoochee. That's the Chattahoochee River in Tennessee. That's an Indian name. They got counties that are named after these Native Americans. No Native Americans in sight. I was like 25 years old when I saw my very first Native American. I didn't even know where he was from. I was very curious. I said, what is your ethnicity? And he said, "I'm a Native American." And I was like, damn. And to think that they used to occupy the whole entire of the US, and the Europeans okay, destroyed them and took over them. It's real, okay? It's real. They're not here to be your friends, guys. They're not here. They're not coming to the continent for fun and giggles. You know, no, 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 no. You need to be, man, whoo. What's up, cuz? This is my cousin in Ohio. Big shout outs to Mr. Ulysses for it. Thank you for stopping by. Big shout outs to the family. Thank you, Douglas. I'm trying to help y'all, but they don't be hearing me, but I still be talking. I just still be talking. I still be talking. Jerome says, Professor Black Truth just did a video essay 2 days ago about 2 Americans being arrested for torturing African children. This is a problem with foreign nationals perpetuating this abhorrent crime. Absolutely. Again, you got to question. You have got to question. This is something our people are not good at. I'm going to be honest. I be analyzing, okay? I can't speak for a lot of you guys, but I'm a critical thinker, and I be thinking like, this ain't, the math ain't mathing, as they say. It's not adding up. You know, I already have an issue with, you know, I mean, obviously, when it comes to adoption, there's a lot of children that need homes and things like that, but I'm not confident that they can really do an adequate job of raising a Black child, because they can't relate to being a Black person. They don't live a life synonymous with ours. Life is different for them, and that's just the truth, you know? So raising a child in that bubble is not giving them a reality check of what it is. And even many experiences that the child probably goes through, if they come home and explain to their parents can't comprehend, because it's not something that they've ever been through. You know? And again, who's policing these people? Shout out to Ethiopia. They've outlawed any foreign adoptions after similar cases in Ethiopia where children were being adopted by Americans and being abused and molested and neglected. You know, once again, ask yourself the question. Lots of children in the system in America. Why are they going for foreign adoptions? Why? Lots of children right in their own nation. Why are you coming to Africa to pick children up? Big shout outs. What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? Big shout outs to news you can use. I see you here. Great question. What can we do? Give up our UK passports. How will that help us in Africa? Are you willing to give up your Western passport and live without them? Well, first of all, I don't know. You're a new subscriber. Okay, that says a lot because you don't know my story. First and foremost, I migrated from America to UK and I now live in Ghana. I moved to Ghana in 2020. Would I give up my foreign passport? Absolutely not. What am I doing to help? Exactly what I'm doing. I'm preaching the message and I'm living as an example. If you do have access to the West, it's all good, but use your resources on the continent. Duh. The problem is that when we get abroad, we have this mentality that we're going to assimilate and we want to neglect our homelands and we want to build and become part of the fabric of this society that we can never achieve. Our intention should be to utilize the resources there and edify our homeland. That's what other foreigners do. And that's the right winning recipe. You know, you will see the Asians, for instance. I assume you're in the UK. You will see that these Asians, even though they're living in the UK, they have very tight-knit communities. You know, a lot of them will be using their resources back home, building homes back home or businesses back home. That's the winning recipe. Our problem is that we have neglected our homeland, or even when we get in a position to explore our homeland, like me. Okay, I'm not born and raised in Africa. Okay, I began my own exploration of the continent, and I came to the conclusion, you know what? I'm going to go and settle in Ghana. Okay, now when I come to the UK, I will raise resources or whatever, and I spend that money back here in Ghana. You know, I'm using my influence to to create what I'm talking about here. You know, I think in essence, if you are an international traveler or you're a business person, both like myself, it would be very foolish for you to give up your UK passport. Black people do not think in terms of duality. Okay. It's not either or. Okay. It's a plethora of options. If you have access to the West, use it to your advantage. Why would I give up my foreign passports? Why would I? You know, because I still need to travel. If I were to give up my foreign passport, that means I have to get visas to go to the UK and the US. Okay. Which is not smart. Okay. I can use my foreign passports to get resources and do my business and build myself here on the continent. Duh. So welcome news you can use to my channel. I hope I answered that. Big shout outs. What's up? Probably not. Probably not. I'm not someone who is motivated by the money, clearly. Because if I were, I would just have like a makeup channel, or I would have like a comedy channel. I'd be shucking and jiving like most of the Black people in the social media world, because obviously talking self-preservation and promoting people to come to the continent is not a money bag. When it comes to music, I want creative control of my music, because I know how influential the lyrics are and things like that. And obviously, because I understand that for every action, there's a reaction. Actually, the title of my upcoming EP I'm dropping on New Year's Day. I realize that when you do business with them, okay, there's always a cost to be involved. And I don't want to pay these costs. So I rather be independent, which I am. Okay, just in case you don't know, I've written all my own songs. I'm the director of the concepts of my music videos. I funded all my music videos. I'm not into bringing in other people. I try to utilize all my own personal talents as much as possible to facilitate what I need. So probably not. Probably not. I'm not big on a lot of collabs anyway, because again, it's a consensus between you and two people. And you know, I don't know. So I don't know. I'm not someone who sings and dances for money. You know, I think obviously you're new to my channel, so you don't know a lot about me, but you'll get to see that. You'll get to see that. Okay. I even had, prior to this, I had a YouTube channel that got to 11,000 subscribers. They shut my channel down, stating that my videos were hate speech. Okay. And I'm still back again. I'm still back again. Big shout out to Dee's Village. Thank you so much for your super chat. I see you there with that 18 pounds. Much love. Appreciate you, sweetie. Happy holidays. Yeah, so I'm not like them. That's all I gotta say. But you'll see. I don't have to talk a lot about it. If you stick with the channel or you watch some of my previous videos, you'll find out for yourself. I'm not one of those Black people that sing and dance for money. So, you know, I'm not. If that's the case, I ought to marry me a white man a long time ago. I told you I could be doing all this damn entertaining kind of content, stupid nonsense, but I choose to come here and talk about this stuff, even with the associated costs. I've been sacked from my job. I've lost lots of friends, relationships. You know what I'm saying? I lost my channel. It took me 8 years to build that channel, but I still won't sing and dance. S.A. Smith, what's up? 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 This is great. Tiger, once again, Tiger says things that it's like she's channeling me. She says, why do you need to give up a UK passport to live in Africa? The beauty is being able to move back and forth and leech off of them like they do in Africa. Absolutely. Now, if we were to see a white American living in Ghana, we would never ask them, well, are you going to give up your, foreign passports? But Black people feel like it's either or. You know, they feel like if they move to Africa, that's the end. Like they're never going to go to the West. In reality, as a diasporan, you are intrinsically tied to the West in some ways. You might have family there. You might have business there. And after all, it's where you grew up. So you have familiarity. There might be things you miss. There might be food you miss. You might get homesick sometimes or whatever. So, I mean, it doesn't have to be so absolute. In my personal model, my goals are to spend the majority of my time here in Ghana. And I have successfully done that since I moved here. You know, Obviously, because of things going on and my music, I'm traveling a lot back and forth to the UK. I spent about 4 months there in 2022. I spent about 3 months there in 2021, but I'm still averaging to spend the majority of my time here in Ghana. So that's the goals, you know. There are resources I need from the West. There's products from the West that I need. So all those things can be a benefit for me here on a continent. And I see it as an asset, you know? So yeah, big shout out to the family. S.A. Smith says, I don't think many of us understand we can become extinct. Ask the natives and aboriginals of Australia. There were millions of them, not hundreds. Fact. I mean, we have countless examples. We have countless examples of what is to come. And again, for you religious people, the Bible tells you, you know, this lines up with your Bible. The Bible says the wise people see the danger ahead of them and avoid it. Why you don't learn from people that have preceded you is a dumb thing. Thank you, Douglas, for that super chat, sweetie. That's what I don't get. I'm like, learning from people ahead of you is very, very smart. Okay? Because you can see potential outcomes for different situations and you can avoid it. You can say, you know what, I don't want to maybe take the risk of doing this and that and the other. Now, sometimes, obviously, you know, that's not a guarantee for every single situation, but sometimes it's a good moniker. And a lot of times when it happens over and over and over again, how many times did Britain colonize? Did they just come to Ghana and say, okay, we're going to colonize Ghana and get this gold? Was that their only country? Huh? How many instances of police brutality in America? Did they just beat up Rodney King back in the 90s? Was that it? Was that the end? Did they just lynch one black man, one black woman for disobeying them? You see, there's a pattern involved. And so a smart person would say, man, this is, I need to be mindful. It's not a one-off thing. You know, and then study the methods of how they did it. The Chinese are quiet with their, you know, assertions here on the continent. They come to the continent, they go to rural communities, obviously where there's a lot of poverty. They do a lot of illegal business, illegal mining, all that stuff. But because they're in the rural communities and they're paying off the local people, nobody disturbs them. Then they're bringing in their own products. They're bringing in their own people. Sometimes they marry a local so they can get access to the inheritance in the land. Okay? They got a strategic way of how they plan to occupy. Now, the West, you know, the Europeans and the Americans, they do everything by violence and by force. Okay? All this stuff is historic. Thank you, GBL. I see you. So, this is the same stuff they was doing back in the days. This is the same exact methodology they did back in the days. If we were smart, we would say, wait a minute. Wait a minute. This looks very, very similar. I've been through this before. Same script, different cast. But yet and still, we go for this. So what is my mode of action? Obviously, I don't just want to talk without promoting mode of action. First of all, I definitely charge the diaspora with the responsibility to begin to break down these communication barriers. That's what I'm doing with my channel. And this is what I also encourage you to do on the ground. Many diasporans are coming here to the continent, and it's surprising to me, but they're having very little interactions with their locals. Okay, so maybe they're chilling with other diasporians and they're going to these kind of events, and you know, they haven't tried local foods, they're not learning any languages, they're not fraternizing with the people. This is a bad way to go. You know, people on the continent can be a resource to you and you can be a resource to them. But many times they have not had conversations with diasporans. Okay, they've never actually met someone who lived in the UK. They've never actually met someone who lived in America. So oftentimes having that conversation with them is so profound, especially if they're listening to you and they're intelligent. I had a conversation. I'm going to wrap up soon, guys. Big shout out to the family. Thank you guys for being here. We got almost 40 of you here. And thank you to my super chat donors, Dee's Village, Douglas Allen, Blockavelli, GBL. Thank you guys so much for showing some fiscal, tangible support on this channel. I had a conversation this morning with a young man that I met when I was in Nairobi. Okay, so for those of you guys that don't know, I used to do business in Nairobi prior to the COVID lockdowns. I was trading, you know, Masai beads, some of the very beautiful jewelries that are made in Nairobi. I would basically go there and I had a beater, I would get products and put them on my website. So during that course, I met a young man. He was probably maybe like 16, 17 at the time, maybe 18, I'm not sure. And he texted me this morning and we were having a conversation about Instagram. He asked me what was my impression about Instagram. And I said, because he said it was really unusual, but he remembered that I don't watch TV. So for those of you guys, you know, some of you know, some of you don't know. I don't watch TV. I don't own a TV. I haven't owned a TV. I've actually never personally bought a television. But when I used to watch TV was when it was in my parents' house before I moved to college. And since then, since 2001, I've never had a TV in my room or anything like that. So he remembered that. He remembered when I was talking to him that we had this conversation. And I told him why I didn't watch TV. I told him that the media propagates a lot of subliminal messages. And obviously, it portrays our people very negatively. And I believe in putting my money where my mouth is. So I'm not going to support, you know, these kind of things. So he was talking to me about that. And he said, I know you don't watch TV because of what we talked about, but what do you think about Instagram? And I told him, I said, well, you know, a lot of social media is fake altogether. I said, but Instagram perpetuates consumerism. Okay. And I said, if you just look at your timeline, it's going to be full of products that you like, you know, shoes. And I sent him a screenshot of my own timeline. And on my timeline, as you can imagine, there was like expensive dresses, shoes, and hairstyles, and some good looking guys. And he was like, wow. And he looked at his and he said, oh my gosh, it's shoes, it's t-shirts, and this kind of thing. Okay. And he realized that, yeah, it's just advertising to him every few, you know, 5 minutes. And I said, that's what it's there for. Social media is being used as a tool to, you know, get your resources basically in your hands. But it was really interesting to me because I literally have not been to Kenya since 2020. February 2020, in which I didn't see him on that visit. I saw him at some point during 2019. But the young man remembered our conversation. So I gave you guys this example because diasporans that are on the ground are essential to beginning to break down some of these barriers. We are legitimately the first people ever having this conversation with people on the continent, you know, dispelling what they think they know, and maybe even showing them, you know, an article or telling them what life is like from the various states that you guys are from or the different nations that you're from. They are not hearing back because what you got to understand is many African migrants that move out to the international community, a lot of them are being dishonest when they communicate with their family back here because they're embarrassed of the reality of their life in the West. They don't want to tell their family back here, I'm struggling, I'm depressed, I'm lonely, I don't like the weather, I'm having financial problems. They want to put on this bravado that, yeah, I made it and yeah, I'm doing my thing out here. So when they hear from us, you know, it's creating some kind of like a different reality for them. And it may not resonate with everybody because, like I said, a lot of people would just totally reject it and say, well, you're not telling the truth, and they don't want to believe it. But to some people, like the young man I had a conversation with in Nairobi, they're actually listening to you and they're actually thinking it through, you know, and it really was encouraging to me, not when I heard from him, but I hear from so many of you guys through emails or sometimes when you're here in Ghana or if I run into you at the airport, and it lets me know that I may not be affecting millions, and I don't intend to because my message is just too real for them. But I am very happy that it is having a realm of influence with those of you that really matter. And those of you guys that are much more likely to implement change because you can see what's happening and you are people that believe in putting your money where your mouth is, you know? So a big shout out to the family. I appreciate everybody being here. We had a really large crowd today. So I hope you guys hit the like, and I appreciate all my super chat donors. What's up? What's up? What's up? Big shout outs to the family. My cousin says, the closest I've been to Ghana is Dubai. A lot of times when we Americans visit overseas, we are warned to believe that these places are bad. They keep us in a small fishbowl that blinds. Absolutely. Absolutely. And this is my real cousin, y'all. This is my cousin. This is my very cousin. We ain't play cousins. We're real cousins. Grew up together. So big shout outs to Mr. Ulysses Ford in Columbus, Ohio. Thank you so much. So I can't obviously read all the rest of your comments, but thank you guys. I can't read all the comments. There's a lot. There's a lot. What's up, T. Kelly? T. Kelly's talking about driving in her car in California in America. Yeah, it's crazy out there. I've heard from many diasporians that are actually that have traveled back to the West for holiday time to spend with their families. New Jersey, Pennsylvania, California, Atlanta, and they're giving me similar sentiments that, you know, they are nervous about being there and they feel unsafe, they feel uncomfortable. So definitely. Anyway, guys, we will continue this conversation later. Big shout outs. What's up? Thank you, Anthony. I see you there. T. Kelly, Heartbreak Wednesday is coming out on the new EP. Big shout outs. What's up, Yvette KB? I see you there. Thank you. No, Anthony, I have not got my citizenship currently. I'm just a resident. For the meantime, I'm a resident here in Ghana. Big shout outs to family. All right, guys, it's a lot of comments. I can't go through them all, but I love you all. If you are not a subscriber to our channel, please make sure you join the family. We back on the rise. We're going to come back stronger than ever. You know what I'm saying? I'm committed to providing these resources for my people no matter what. So it is what it is. Until we meet again, stay black and true. If you ain't black, just stay true.